Welcome to episode 81 of The Fun Waste of Time. I'm Tarrus, and on this episode of the show, we're going to talk about all of that mess that's supposedly going on with the Avengers Doomsday set with Robert Downey Jr. and another potential star having a conflict and altercation with one another. We're also going to talk about all the movies, TV shows, and video games that we've been watching over the last few weeks. And I actually have a surprise that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to start the show out with this. I actually performed some upgrades on my home theater this year, and I want to share with you guys what I actually did with that. I posted some things on my social media and on the Fun Waste of Time social media, but I want to take a minute to share with the folks that are listening and watching with us here some of the things that I did so we can get a little more intimate with that discussion. But before we get into all of that, let's check in with the fellas. What is happening, guys?
Tarrus, good to see you, man.
What's happening, Jason? How have you been?
Oh, not too bad, man. You know, I'm telling you, if only the audience knew the trouble we've been going through to try to get this episode recorded, man. It's been one thing after another. This has been like a 3-week ordeal trying to get schedules to line up and trying to get all the technical issues. But I just want to make sure the audience knows how hard Tarrus works on all this stuff and how much he tries to innovate and do some new things with the podcast. I mean, we've been doing video for a few months. We're going to do a few other new things here with this episode that I'm sure everyone will love. But yeah, Tarrus puts in a lot of work, guys, so hope you appreciate it. I certainly do.
I really appreciate the compliment, Jason. I'm going to go ahead and pop my collar on that one, but it is very, very much appreciated. For those that have been listening to us regularly, you know that we really only do the show about once a month. And the reason for that is because we don't do this professionally. We all have full-time jobs and families and that kind of thing. And we try to get together and do it as often as we can. And while we love the fact that we get to share the conversations that we have with you guys, I do this show because this is really the only time that I get to sit down with my brothers, meet up on a regular basis and talk about those things, talk shop about those things that we've always loved and enjoyed. We've been doing this show now for 10 years, off and on, more consistently over the last 6 years, since about January of 2019. And I'm going to keep it going as long as I possibly can. Now, we've been doing this in audio form over the last 6 to 10 years. And over the last couple of months, we've decided that we're going to make an effort to put out more video content. And with that, there do come struggles. There do come challenges because it's different for us. If this was the audio portion of the show, it'd be easy to do. But because we're doing video, there's a couple of other things that have to be taken into consideration. And I'm playing more roles behind the scenes in addition to participating in the actual show itself. So for those of us who are watching, please bear with us. I promise you, it's only going to get better as we go on. But enough with that. What's happening, Anthony? How have you been?
Been doing good. Hey, just for the audience, among the things that Tarrus does behind the scenes is makeup artist. So he's done a really good job evening out his makeup there. So kudos to him on that.
Hey, that's just this, it don't crack skin, bro. That's all I'm saying.
But me, I've just been working towards my Lego engineering degree. So we're getting pretty close there.
Yeah.
Lego engineering degree.
Yes.
Jason, help me out. Did a Lego movie come out recently, or is it could it be the new Batman video game trailer that just came out at Gamescom?
Anthony actually spoiled this for me in a previous conversation, so I'm going to let you keep guessing because this is fun to watch.
The only thing that I can actually think of is I watch all of the video game showcases that come out throughout the summer. And just a few weeks ago, Gamescom, which basically is taking the place of E3, where hundreds of thousands of enthusiasts, video game enthusiasts and fans participate in a video game convention out in Cologne, Germany. And they actually drop some pretty cool new trailers from time to time, actually regularly, not from time to time, to tell you the truth. And one of the video games that they actually dropped was for a new Lego Batman game. I think it's called Legends or something of that nature. But it takes all of the various Batman movies and Batman content from some of the animated shows and some popular comic books, and it puts it all in one game. And that's the only thing that I can think of when it comes to Legos that he may be referring to. Am I on to something here, Anthony?
You are not, actually. I had a traditional intro lined up, but I spoiled it on one of our false starts and recording, so I wanted to keep it as a guess. Actually, right before we were getting ready to record tonight, I had a little bit of a Lego emergency, so I had to go back and refix some stuff, and I was telling Jason about that. So that's what I was referring to.
Okay, so when you say Lego emergency, what Lego are you building? Did you talk about that, or?
I did. I'm working on a miniature Millennium Falcon.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of the anniversary editions from her. It's a little desktop version, so it's not
So
the big one.
You're getting deep into the Lego building.
Yeah, I did
The hobby.
Batman Forever Batmobiles, the anniversary Batmobile for Batman Forever, and started off with the F1 series, championship series. So it's been pretty fun. getting back
Awesome.
into it.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you, one day on the show, man, you're going to have to record some video or take some pictures so you can share with us what you've done. As you know, we are a hobbyist podcast, and we don't just talk movies, TV, video games, comic books, and home theater. So bring it on. We'd love to see your toy collectibles that you've been working on.
And I like how Tarrus guessed literally everything Lego related except actual Legos. That was funny.
I had to keep them guessing.
Well, see, that's why I need somebody like Anthony to, to make sure I stay on track. So I do appreciate that. All right, guys. So like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to start out. I'm just going to do a walkthrough of some of the updates that I've made in my theater. I'm going to try to keep it to about 15 to 20 minutes max because we got some other things that we want to discuss on the show. But I wanted to, as I stated, share with you guys some of the things that I've done over this past year. And over the last 3 years, I've been making updates to the theater, some fantastic updates that I've been extremely happy with. I've always said that a commercial theater cannot compete with my theater. I don't care if it's a Dolby Cinema, IMAX, whatever. It cannot compete with the Fun Waste of Time Theater and some of the things that I've done in there over the last, say, 8-9 years since I've had my theater now, since about 2017, 2016. So we are going to do a home theater experience episode. And bear with me. Like I said, video is new to us, so things might be slow getting going, but I really do want to share this with you, and I hope you enjoy what it is I'm going to be presenting to you guys. Cool. So let's get the home theater experience started.
TV, movies, video games, the ultimate home theater experience, HTX.
All right, so I'm going to share some pre-recorded video of some of the things that I've actually done in the space. There's no sound. I'm just going to talk you through some of the things that I've done. And if you guys have any questions, I can definitely stop and we can discuss it a little bit. But I do want to keep it moving because I don't want the whole episode to be about this, guys. So let's get it cracking. So we're going to start out in my master bedroom, and then we're going to walk into the theater. So this is me. This is typically what I do when I walk into theater from the bedroom. The theater is just right across the hall.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So what we're looking at here is the culmination of everything I've done over the last 8 years or so. That is the new projector hush box that I just recently put in. We're going to get a very good look at it coming up here soon. I've got Control 4. That's a Control 4 touchpad. These are the SVS SB17 subwoofers that I have in the back of the room. And I had a subwoofer stand built for them to improve the resonance in the room because the bass is extremely tight inside of there because of that when you get your subs off of the floor. And that stand actually can hold 1,000 pounds.
Man.
That's how sturdy we wanted to make it. Now what I'm doing is I have 2 twin towers in the front of the room. These are 8 SVS SB16s in the front of the room. And I had some recent custom things done to them that I'm going to show you here in a moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you over to the rack. The new addition here is I added that middle Ashley NE24.24 Matrix Network DSP. That's what I'm showing you there. I have 3 now. So in addition to the the Anthem AVM70 audio processor that I have these Ashley Matrix Network DSPs to complement it. And the sound is just freaking fantastic, man. I absolutely love it. So now what I'm going to do is show you what it's like sitting in the seats, seeing the screen. None of the aperture, the white portion, the screening portion of the screen is blocked when you're sitting in these seats with the twin towers there. But basically what this is this is 4 SVS SB16s stacked together. I had that custom grill built for all 4 of those subs. I commissioned a fantastic carpenter and artist here in San Antonio to build it for me. That's the subwoofer stand that he built for me. We had it upholstered with the same velvet that we have on the subs and in the back of the screen wall there. But just fantastic. And we got it, the dimensions just right to where it's within half an inch of meeting the cloud panels that are in the ceiling. So it clears the cloud panels so they can be removed if, for whatever reason, I never need to access under those cloud panels. So that was the left side of the room. This is the right side of the room. Same thing. And you'll notice that I'm wearing my headlamp. I've been doing so much work in the attic. I've got my headlamp that I can light up whenever I need to see something a little more clearly. Now we're looking at the projector hush box. I'm so proud of this thing. This was basically about 4 or 5 months of work trying to get this just right. The same carpenter that did the custom grills and the subwoofer stands that those subs are on did the projector hush box as well. Now I'm showing you all of the in-ceiling subwoofers and in-ceiling top channels. That's my second center channel, which is a freaking awesome thing. I love that thing. And what's cool about the in-ceiling speakers and subwoofers, when I first started to set everything up, it was like an experiment. Well, it is no longer an experiment because it is the most fantastic imaging that I've ever experienced in my own theater or anybody else's theater for that matter. It's just a really cool experience. I added all of these new subs there. This is a better look at the projector hush box. Beautiful, beautiful. And the cool thing about it is the sound in the room is extremely quiet. Now you can hear a little bit of the fan noise coming through the opening of where the projector lens is there, but it's ever so mild. The sound quality in the room, based on putting that hush box in, is about 90% better than it was prior to having it. So when the projector was just hanging on the ceiling on a mount, you could really, really hear the fan noise from the projector quite heavily. Now that we actually have this hush box, it is like 90 to 95% gone. It is the most amazing thing. And the way that we designed the projector hush box is so that I have access to the front, back, the sides, so I can take those sides off and do anything in the back of the projector, or if anything needs to be done, I have access to that.
Now, Tarrus, does that overheat at all?
Well, here's the thing. We actually put in a HVAC system and a AC cooling system inside of the hush box as well.
That's
so there is an exhaust fan that exhausts the hot air from the fans out of the hush box. There is an intake fan that pushes cool air into the actual hush box.
Wow.
Now, the cool thing about both of them are actually pretty cool, but the one great thing that I love about the intake fan is the vent that's pushing air into the box is coming from the media closet. The media closet has its own dedicated mini split.
Wow.
That mini split stays at 65 degrees, so it's extremely cool when you step in there. So that intake fan is pumping that cool air from the media closet into the hush box. The exhaust fans, and there are 2 vents inside of the exhaust fans right over the fans themselves of the projector, it's sucking out all of that hot air while the intake fan is pushing in cool air. So I don't need to keep the fans high at all. I keep it at about a setting of 3 for each, and it stays really, really quiet, and it keeps the projector cool. The degrees, it typically stays at about, say, 83 to 84 degrees based on the way that I have it set up. The ducts that I actually have for the hush box, they are, the exhaust fans have 6-inch ducts, and the intake fan is just one duct, going from the media closet to the fan into the hush box. That's 8 inches. Right. So there's a lot of airflow coming in and out of that box. I needed to give it as much flow as it possibly could have. In addition to that, what we did is we used insulated flex ducts. And I want to thank my buddy in the movie group, Brandon H., for recommending utilizing insulated flex ducts, because he has a fantastic, all of the guys in the movie group have awesome theaters, man. And a lot of my ideas, I can say that they were inspired by some of the things that they've done. But he actually recommended going from the traditional, the 4-inch ducts to 6-inch to 8-inch. Well, excuse me. He didn't recommend the size. He just recommended using insulated flex ducts. My HVAC guy, I hired the HVAC guy that's done a lot of the work on my unit here in the house to do the duct work for this hush box. He recommended increasing it from, say, 4 and 6 to 6 and 8 to increase the airflow and quiet the vents inside of the hush box. So that's why it's so quiet in there. And what we also did is we utilized insulated foam tape. We put that inside of the reducers within the vents, so that there's no air hitting against metal. So there's no metal to metal being hit when it comes to air being pulled in and out of the hush box. So it's an amazing thing. I actually have some images that I'm going to share with you guys here momentarily to show you the HVAC or the AC, because there's no heating going on with it. So, like I said,
Tarrus,
that's...
Before we move on, you showed us something there, and maybe I missed it because I was looking at the box.
I can go back. What's up?
Behind the back row, right there, what are we looking at there?
Okay. So these are the two subwoofers that I have in the back. These are the two SVS SB17s sitting on a very heavy insulated subwoofer box. That subwoofer box as well can hold 1,000 pounds. These are two of the SVS SB17s. And then, you guys know me, I'm all about aesthetics, man. I don't like anything in the room not looking good. You know what I mean? So not only did I work with a carpenter who's an artist, who did a lot of this fantastic stuff for me, but I worked with the seamstress who created all of the runners, basically, for the subwoofers. So she created the subwoofer runner for the subs in the back. She also created the subwoofer runners for the subwoofers in the front, for the twin towers that are up front there. So that's basically what's going on. The bass in this room, guys, oh my gosh, it'll blow your mind, bro. It will blow your... I'm telling you, man, I've not been in another theater that can compete with this. And don't get me wrong, the guys in the movie group, they've got some freaking awesome theaters. Two of them have a 32-inch sub in the back of their theater, and a Sindel sub, and they've got two 21 subs in the front of their stage behind the screen. But see, here's what takes my bass and my imaging over the top. Not only do I have fantastic infrasonic subwoofer tactile bass, but I've got subs all around me too. There's 6 subs behind the screen in the front stage, 6 10-inch subs. There are 7 10-inch subs in the ceiling, and there are 2 10-inch subs in the back. So not only do I have bass coming from the horizontal plane, right? I've also got it coming from the vertical plane. Wow. So getting all of that tactile, fantastic bass and imaging is just, it's an amazing thing. When helicopters fly around you, you're not just hearing it around you, you're hearing it above you too. So it takes the immersion to a whole other level. In addition to that, you guys saw that I have that second center right here. That second center subwoofer, you see it right there. This thing right here.
Okay.
That's a second center. There's what they call left, center, right, front stage center here in the middle of the screen. But I put in a second center, which originally was an experiment to see how it would work out. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted the vocals from anything that I was watching to be really crisp, very audible, and just sounding really good, right? Really full. And at first I was kind of concerned. I was thinking maybe there'd be some delay. It might not really sound all that great. But man, let me tell you, it really took my imaging to a whole other level. There's no delay at all. I actually had the room calibrated a couple times by one of our local calibrators here, Jeff Meary. He's been at my home over the last, say, 2.5 years, about maybe 5 times. Every upgrade that I've done, I've utilized them to come through and tighten things down for me. But I absolutely love having a second center, man. The most amazing thing. If the content isn't mixed well, I don't have a problem hearing anything that's going on with whatever I'm watching in that room. One of the most amazing things ever. But I digress. Let's get on so that we can get on to some of the other topics. Let's go back to here. So like I said, these are the 2 subs in the back. I've got 8 in the front, 4 in a dual stack that you guys saw. You can see over here on the left side, you saw the in-wall sub that was over there. Over here, we're going to check out the system coming on. Those are the Ashleys there. You can see down at the bottom where it says 45. That's the Anthem AVM 70 that kicked on. We're going to go look at the hush box one more time with the imaging turned on. You'll see here, I think I want to show you this here. You see this here?
Yeah.
That's an acrylic glass behind there, right? This whole front is keeping sound from really bleeding into the room. But one of the things that I told my carpenter is, listen, man, I want to be able to see the indicator lights on the projector because this projector you can control by IP. I can control it with Control 4. But, sometimes things disconnect from the network or whatever, and you have to do things manually. So having the traditional remote for the projector, I can actually make adjustments should something go wrong with the IP, with the networking on the projector. So that's one of the reasons why I had that done. So this is for the indicator lights. This is for the, this is where the sensor is on the projector. Nice. Right? So I can point the remote at that sensor there and still control the projector should something go wrong with the IP. And that is it, guys.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
That is it. And I have one more video that I want to show. This was only about 3 minutes. This is to show what the front stage actually looks like with the twin towers that are in the front of the room. Some people might think maybe it blocks the image or, it really doesn't darken the room at all, because you can still see some maybe the grills from the subwoofers, or maybe there's something glaring there. This shows what it actually looks like from the front stage. Now, keep in mind, I've got the lens on the camera on wide. So of course the image is going to look a little far away. Of course, when you're in the room, it's just a fantastic experience, but I wanted to just share that with you guys before we go there. Right. So this is me sitting in the back row. Lights are going down. Look how dark that is up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't really see a thing. I got some lights on and you still can't see what's going on in the front stage there. It's like awesome. A black hole. Like it's a floating screen, basically. So I'm using Kaleidoscape here. So Kaleidoscape is going to kick on in a minute and the lights are going to change because the lights are associated with whatever I'm watching. Right? So Kaleidoscape, when you stop a movie, it'll turn the lights on. When the movie starts, it'll turn the lights off. You need to put pause or whatever, the lights come on so you can go and do what you got to do. And this is the scripts, the demo scripts that you can use in Kaleidoscape, right? So you don't have to get up and keep changing Blu-rays every time you want to show somebody something. These are all of the movies that I have. There are more there. You see where it says next page. Now you see the light color changed. Kaleidoscape did that. This is the thumbnail of what we're going to watch every time something new video is going to display. I'm going to turn the volume on just a bit. You guys can hear what's going on here. Doesn't sound anywhere near as good as when you're in a room, but just so that you can hear what's going on. You hear me clicking. Now look at that. You can't see you see the blue lights on the sides there a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the SB16 display lights. I love it when it comes on. But you can barely see it behind the grill.
Hey, Tarrus, what's that mean? What's that indicate when you say you see the blue lights coming on?
The SB16s have a front display where it'll show you a lot of details and info about whatever's going on with the subwoofer. When it comes on, it'll display that it's on. It'll show the volume of what the subwoofer's at. And it does a lot of other things. But usually once it recognizes there's some content being played or some bass being played, you can set it up. You can set it up to where it doesn't come on at all. Or you can set it up to show for a minute and then go away.
Okay.
So I have mine set up to come on for a minute and then go away. Let's take a look at that one more time.
I thought you meant that it was like periodically with some sort of input.
No. Once you can set it up to it comes on one time for however many seconds you want it to come on. I have it for like 5 seconds, and then it will go off.
Okay.
But you can barely see it behind the
Yeah,
behind the custom grills there. You see that there?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
See that there? Like right there, right there, right there. There are three. Right there, right there, right there. You can't see the one up top because the grill, the grill frame is kind of covering the one up top there. But the bottom three you can actually see. So they come on at one time, and then you'll notice they'll go off after a couple of seconds after they've been displayed. They went off at the same time. You saw that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
The video here is very grainy. It does not look like that in the room. That's the camera that I was using. But that's how dark it is in the theater when I'm sitting there watching content.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm going to turn around. I'm going to turn the headlamp on so you can see what it's like. There's just a little bit of light that I turned on with my headlamp. You can barely see it.
Yeah.
Still kind of dark. But that light you're seeing is the headlamp. I'm going to show the hush box here a little bit. Now you see how dark it is? I just turned the headlamp off.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Tarrus, adding that hush box, has that changed the experience at all for those
Big
sitting
time.
in that back row? No, I meant for those that are directly under it.
Big time, Anthony. That was the reason I actually added it. In the front row, you could hear the noise without the hush box when it was just mounted on the ceiling a bit, but it really didn't bother you all that much because it was behind you. But when you were sitting under it, it was pretty noticeable during silent scenes. When content was being played, you really didn't notice it all that much. But when it was silent in a movie or a TV show you're watching, you could actually hear the exhaust fans from the projector going off above you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really distracting. You got used to it after a while. But it always kind of bothered me, and I always wanted to clean it up. Then I get in this movie group, and the guys in the movie group, they don't even have a hush box. They got projector rooms.
Oh.
They've got one of the guys, Brandon, his theater lobby is where his projector is, right? So it's completely separated from his theater. And he's got some of the same things that I've got going on in mine. He's got exhaust. He doesn't have any, I think he's got AC in his lobby back there. So he really doesn't need to have an intake fan blowing cool air in. But he's got exhaust fans exhausting that hot air out of that theater lobby that he has and pumping it into the attic. Because his theater lobby is kind of small. It's a small room, but still pretty cool, pretty dope. But it's a small room. Another guy in the group, Jeremy has a fantastic theater as well, just as nice as Brandon's. But he's got his in a room behind his theater, right? It's kind of like a closet, very long closet. And so all of those guys had their projectors out of their rooms. And there's another guy in the group as well. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Nick. Nick has a fantastic theater as well. Not as crazy as all of ours, but his is pretty dope too. But Brandon and Jeremy have some projector rooms for theirs. I didn't have the space for that because, as you guys saw, when I come out of my bedroom, my theater's across the hall. So you've got a hallway right behind the theater. So what I wanted to do is put that hush box in. And now, Anthony, to answer your question directly, you can barely hear any fan noise or any exhaust fan or intake fan noise coming out of that hush box. It is extremely quiet, bro. Like I said, it's a 90% improvement over what it was before. That's how quiet it is. But that was that. And the last thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to run through some photos and show you guys what it was before and what it is now. You guys okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Love it.
Okay, I'm going to run through this pretty quick. We're already at 30 minutes. We did about 10 minutes of intro during when we started the show. So I'm just going to take about another 3 minutes to share this with you. Keep me on time, guys, because I want us to get to our topics too. So this is what these are the Twin Towers prior to having the subwoofer runners and the subwoofer stands and the grills as well, right? Because these subwoofers aren't sold with one continuous grill. It's each one has an individual grill, right? So that's what it was when we first set the 4 up. This is once we actually put the runners on, right? So this is just with the runners, the subwoofer runner, velvet runner, not with the subwoofer stand. Once we got the grill, we got the subwoofer stand. This is what it looked like after. I like to call them the Twin Towers. No disrespect to my brothers out in New York. But pretty awesome, man. This is what the left side with just the subwoofer runner. Left side with the subwoofer runner, the grill, and the subwoofer stand. Like I said, that subwoofer stand has been designed to be able to hold at least 1,000 pounds. Wow. This is on the right. Subwoofer runner with the grill and the stand. This is a closer look at the stand there. Upholstered very nicely, extremely well done and very professional. This is the back of the room. This is the rear subs.
Ah, yeah.
So we're getting attacked from all sides, bro. Like I said, we're getting it from the vertical plane and the horizontal plane. But this is what's going on in the back. Originally, when I first got them in, before I actually had my subwoofer stand for those. And this here is the control for Halo remote.
Oh, okay.
Once I got the stand in, got it off the floor, the resonance, meaning the bass, was just so much more tactile and tight. This is once I got the subwoofer runner for them. I put the grills on the fronts as well. Super tight. Now, what we're looking at here, we're looking at the attic. The recent addition that not the attic, we're looking at the ceiling. The recent addition that I made to the ceiling subs and speakers is I added a subwoofer for that second row of speakers and subs that you see there. You see right at the time before I did it, you see these panels here in the center there?
Yeah, yeah.
These are 3D scatter diffusers. So they basically scatter the sound so that you're getting like 3D sound effects around you. But I wanted to balance out the ceiling with subs and speakers. So what I did is I added another 10-inch sub in the ceiling. Yeah. So this is why I say whenever there's explosions, there's anything flying over you or anything going on in channels above you, the tactile, the feeling of the bass is the most amazing thing that I've ever experienced. Keep in mind, this is me, right? I don't know what anybody else has experienced, but this is how I feel. The guys that have come over to experience my room, they've given it high compliments as well. And they've got some awesome rooms too.
Right.
This is it, looking at it from the ceiling. This is what it was before. And Anthony, this is when the projector was without the hush box there.
I see it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
helped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah. You see
Seeing
the
that
indicator light
before
there?
helped me visually. Yeah.
Gotcha. Right. This is with the hush box and with the additional ceiling subwoofer there. So there are 15 10-inch subs in the room and 10 infrasonic subs, right? Deep subs. SVS, flagship, current gen, and previous gen subwoofers.
Yeah.
I thought this was a pretty cool image here.
I dig it.
From the side. So those panels can be removed. I can reach in there and make any adjustments I need. If I need to turn something off and turn it on, I can do that. If I need to get into the The HVAC, the controller, or the temp probe, I have access to that. This is what I was saying about adding that indicator light with the sensor there, so I can have access to that. There's an acrylic, a dark acrylic glass behind that, so no sound is bleeding in back from there.
Right.
Now, people might be wondering, what HVAC do I have in here? This is an HVAC return, right?
Okay.
So I needed that when the projector was just being mounted from the ceiling and there was no hush box, because I needed that air to be able to exhaust somewhere, and this is what the return was doing.
Yeah.
I've got 2 supply vents in the room. They're under the cloud panels in the front of the room that you can't see, but there is HVAC cooling inside of this theater. It stays very nice and cool. Closer look there. This is a good look at the rack with all of the Ashleys that have been added. So this is the subwoofer Ashley. This is the top channels, the ceiling channels, ceiling speakers, Ashley. This is the DSP for the bed layer channels. And the theater, I don't think I said this, is a 12 bed layer speakers with 1 in-ceiling center, 25 subwoofers on 13 channels, and 4 Dolby Atmos ceiling speakers.
Wow.
This is in the ceiling. This is the fans. This is the exhaust fans. Right, so you've got the actual fan itself. You got a duct silencer, a end valve, so nothing can actually run inside of the fan there. So when there's air being blown out of it, the vent closes so air can get through, and when there's nothing going on, it'll shut, so no air or nothing can get in. Right. These are the ducts that were put inside of the that were utilized inside of the vents in the hush box there. Those are 6-inch ducts to help with airflow. These are them going into the box itself.
Yeah.
This is the intake vent pushing air into the box. Right, I've got 1 duct silencer muffler. That's the fan there. This is the insulated flex duct going into the media closet there. This is the insulated duct going into the media closet. This is my guy. This is my HVAC guy. He's done a lot of HVAC work in my home throughout the years, assisting me, making sure that we got this right. Brian of Sherlock Holmes HVAC. Guy's fantastic. Got to give him credit. Just him working on everything.
Oh, man.
So he solves mysteries and does air conditioning?
Well, he solves mysteries that are within HVAC.
HVAC
So
mysteries.
if you have an issue where you can't figure out what the problem is, this guy's experienced enough to be able to help you figure it out. Right? Now, look, I was up in the attic with him. I was helping him with this. I did a lot of the work too. But look how sweaty he is being up in that attic. This is at midnight.
Oh, yeah.
We were working at midnight trying to get this done because we wanted to get in there when it was a little cooler. No,
We.
believe me, bro. I did a lot of this work myself too. He actually he tried to come in
Let's
the
have him on the
afternoon.
show. Let's
Oh,
have
he'll
him on
tell
the
you.
show and see if he corroborates that.
He'll tell you. He'll tell you. He actually was having a hard time working in here in the afternoon because it was so hot. He stopped
gotcha.
because he couldn't really, he was like, dude, it's too hot right now. I can't do it. So when he left, in order to keep things moving, I went back in the attic and started to do the things that he actually wasn't able to do at that time because he wanted to come back and do it when it was cooler. The reason I did that is so when he came back, because he came back. Remember we tried to do the podcast Friday at 8 o'clock, and I told you I got to be done by 9. That's because he was coming at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
He showed up at about 9:30, and we worked till 12:30 that morning. This was about midnight when we were actually finishing up. This is the media closet. Right, that's the HVAC that is pushing air into the closet that's being sucked into the vent.
I like how you got to have a TV in there, too.
Yeah, I gotta security cameras and that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like to entertain you while you're plugging stuff in. Okay, never mind.
Or if I want to see if the projector's down and I need to see what's going on with my system, I can actually pull this up here and see what's going on in there. This is my my rig, my racing rig, my portable racing rig there. And this is the vent that is sucking air, intake air into the hush box from the media closet.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And that's it. That's actually all the photos there.
Well, one thing, Tarrus, is very impressive. Until this photo right here, one of the things that I was thinking the entire time you were doing the tour is I didn't see a single wire. No wires anywhere. And that's how aesthetically minded you are, man, because like I said, not a single one.
Yeah, I'm that kind of thing kind of annoys me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to my theater, man, I like to make sure that everything looks nice and clean and we don't have any wires showing or anything of that nature there.
For sure.
The last thing that I want to do is I want to show the folks what the Ashley is actually doing, what the matrixing looks like on the Ashley. This is the subwoofer matrixing. So I'm using 2 intake channels off of the Anthem, right? The subwoofer channels, subwoofer 1, subwoofer 2. And then these are the output channels for all of the subs that are connected to the processor. Now, mind you, there are 25 subs, but I'm using 13 channels, as you can see, right? So the SVS subs, they're connected daisy chain, right? But all of the other subs in the ceiling, the triad subs, some of them are connected through the amp into the Ashley, but there are 13 total channels being matrixed within the Ashley DSP, the processor here. So the Ashley is basically a complement to the Anthem AVM70, and it's a fantastic complement. There's some people that have mentioned to me, hey man, you might want to, you ever thought about upgrading to one of the higher end processors like a Trinoff? And I've always told them, I don't need it, man. No. The combination of this Anthem AVM70 with these Ashley DSPs calibrated, the most amazing thing that I've ever heard. I've got no need to do anything different than what I'm doing right now. Maybe later on down the line, I want to try something different when it comes to actual processors. But right now, the most amazing imaging and sound I could possibly have, I actually have right now. So I'm very happy with what I have. But all right, guys, that is the walkthrough of what I've done in 2025 in my theater. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry, guys, I ran a lot longer than I actually thought I would. Probably about another 10 minutes. But let's go ahead and close this out and get on to movies and TV.
Movies and TV. In a world where movies and TV are on the same level playing field, what are you watching? The Fun Waste of Time Podcast.
So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to turn it over to my good buddy, Anthony, and he's going to lead us in the discussion for what we're going to be talking about in the movie portion here. Take us away, Anthony.
All right, fellas, buckle up because the Marvel rumor mill is back in overdrive. This time it's about all the chaos on the Avengers Doomsday set. So here's what set the scoop that set the internet ablaze. Early this August, the Hot Mike's John Roca reported that 2 major, very outspoken actors clashed on the Avengers Doomsday set over what was described as a joke that went a little too far. Naturally, the internet did what it does best and speculate wildly. The leading theory is that there's a beef with none other than Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds. Now here's where things start to line up or unravel, depending on how you look at it. Rumors say RDJ wasn't thrilled with the early Doctor Doom footage and pushed hard for reshoots, about 3 to 4 weeks worth. That would conveniently line up with an explanation for why Doomsday got bumped from May 1st, 2026 to December 18th, 2026. Around that same time, Ryan Reynolds posted a cryptic Deadpool-style anarchy symbol confirming his involvement, and according to rumors, he wasn't too happy about the delay when he finally showed up to set. Allegedly, that frustration boiled over into a joke that didn't land, tensions flared, and Disney even considered filming the 2 actors separately, a la the Multiverse of Madness split-screen style. Now, all this sounds wild, right, guys? However, when the offended party heard how much the workaround would cost Disney, which was in the millions, he apparently had a change of heart, and like that, the beef was squashed. But wait, there's a plot twist. People.com recently stepped in, killing the hype, claiming Reynolds and RDJ haven't even met in person yet. And then just to stir the pot further, Pedro Pascal's name got dropped into the mix, fueled by rumors that his diminishing role and potential exit as the Avengers team leader. As if that wasn't enough, Rebecca Romijn, who just told The Hollywood Reporter that she's not sure if she's done filming because, quote, they haven't finished writing the script. Yes, you heard that right. Another massive Marvel movie allegedly filming without a finished script. So here are a few questions for the crew. Do you buy the drama? Who do you think was involved in the supposed on-set clash, or is it all smoke? And then, given all the delays, the script chaos, and the potential actor drama, how worried are you about the state of Avengers Doomsday? We'll start off with Jason. What are your
Now,
thoughts
before
on
we
it?
start out with Jason, I just want to read off the list of some of the actors that are in Avengers Doomsday. Now, for all of us who are comic book fans and comic book movie fans, we know that these Avengers movies are usually the culmination of a full phase of a Marvel run, right? So it's not just one or two popular actors. It's the whole gamut of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
So just to read through some of the actors that are in it. So Jason, when you make your speculation, people know who you're selecting from. So actors that have been announced in Doomsday, of course, we've got Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Sam Wilson, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Letitia Wright as Shuri, Black Panther, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Tena Huerta Mejia as Namor, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. Agent, Louis Pullman as Sentry, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, the New Falcon, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Then we've got the Fantastic Four cast. We've got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, Human Torch, Eben Moss Bachrach as Ben Grimm, The Thing. Then we've got the X-Men cast. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy Beast, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit, and then rumored, but not officially announced, is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Well, it might have been faster just to go ahead and name who's not in that movie.
It would have been, but it's just good for everybody to hear all of the actors who are in it, because there's some folks who haven't been keeping up with this and have no idea who's in it or what's going on with it. So, but Jason, take us away. Based on all of that, what you got?
Well, just looking at the show notes when we were preparing for this episode, I actually didn't know that there were going to be that many people in it. Now, I've expressed before that my enthusiasm for the MCU has diminished, but that doesn't mean I still haven't been watching the movies. And you mentioned a few where I actually sat through the movie and still forgot that those characters existed. The New Falcon, for example. I completely forgot he was even in the last Captain America movie. So, I mean, I wish I had something a little more substantive to say, but, you know, going back to how many different actors and different personalities are going to be in this film. Now, of course, they don't all film at the same time. They don't all show up at work like we do to the office every day. But with that many big names and that many presumably egos, there's got to be some kind of conflict at some point. Now, I can't figure out for the life of me why they would want to manufacture conflict or start rumors just for the sake of maybe, you know, any publicity is good publicity. I don't know, honestly. So do I believe that the drama's actually going on? I believe maybe some is going on. But at the same time, does it really matter? I mean, if the movie gets made and we enjoy it, that's all I really care about. Now, we do have the additional issue of the reshoots and Rebecca Romaine mentioning that it's still being written. Now, I'm obviously not an industry expert when it comes to filmmaking, but I do know that scripts evolve as films are being produced. They have to. It's just not going to work out exactly as it was written on the page. So I think that I don't like the idea, obviously, of a script being written as the movie's being filmed, but maybe that's what she was referring to, was maybe changes just being made to it. Do you know, Anthony, if that's
No,
what she was?
that's not what she's referring to.
Oh, okay.
There's and I get it. In the actual quote, if you read a little further in the story, she kind of, I don't know if she's doing a little damage control or speculation, but she just basically added that, a lot of times due to projects like that, they tend to keep good portions of the script from other actors. So you're only getting a portion of what is actually...
That's true, yeah.
Just in time. They're really trying to fight against leaks. But overall, it's rare that an actor doesn't know how many scenes or what they're in, who they're acting against, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's strange that they can keep the script itself from leaking, but not the drama surrounding the production from leaking. So that's the only thing that would make me think maybe they did it on purpose. But they didn't have to do that with any of the other films. So I don't know if does that get butts in theater seats? I don't know. I'm not a marketing guy, so hey, if that's the method that they want to use, then be my guest. But yeah, I didn't really get anything out of the article that specified exactly what the drama was or what the joke that went wrong was. So it's hard to make a judgment based on the minimal information that we have, but I'm just going to say, and this is me taking the easy way out because I don't want anyone hating on me if I take a side. But look, just make the movie. All right. Make the movie. I'll pay my, $25 to go see it and everyone's happy. All right. That should help you, pay for that massive cast list that we got going there. So yeah, that's about all I have, man. What about you, Anthony?
So as far as the conflict, I can't imagine Pedro being a part of it because everybody who works with him just does nothing but heap praise on him. Yeah. Not just for his acting, but for him as a person, like his relationship with them and how he treats other people. The Ryan Reynolds thing, I could absolutely see it. However, the thing is, I've even seen something when we had our delay from we first did our show notes here from John Campia, and he said that one thing I didn't realize is because if you watch different bloggers and stuff and listen to different discussions, it seems like all this stems from the same single report and single source that John Roca did not disclose. And recently it's been said that maybe there was an incident, but it wasn't anywhere near the size of what they were saying, that it was squashed on set immediately and it was handled. So there were some conflicts in the original Avengers that we never really even heard of, but that might have been because the cast was smaller. Sure. The identities were a little smaller, or they weren't maybe as big time as they are now. Yeah. So I'm inclined to go ahead and kind of think that maybe this was kind of blown out of proportion. And it's even cast some doubt of whether or not that 3 to 4 weeks of material is true or not. Right. However, I will say, that I find it hard to believe that they would get 4 weeks into shooting to decide, hey, we don't like the way this is looking and go back. They might, though, and I think if there are some concerns though I have, hearing some of this stuff up is, whether or not Robert Downey Jr. is just reading lines and there's another actor, like a stunt double in the actual suit. My concern with when they first announced Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom was he's going to be relished to a Tony Stark variant. And Victor Von Doom really he demands a little bit more of a presence. And I think he's a big enough character. I don't feel like he needs to be tied to Tony Stark.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I don't like the fact he's tied to it. It was only like a what if story that I believe that in the comic books where they did, an alternate universe type thing of that. So I'm not a fan of that. And I keep thinking back to if there is any validity of it, how much are we going to see his face as opposed to in the mask? These things kind of matter to me, especially because, Dr. Doom is one of the big hitter villains for Marvel. So I just don't want him tied to that. But my bigger concern is the fact that you get so far into shooting and you don't have a finished script. I know, like you said, Jason, during production, it's not uncommon to make changes as you're filming. But to the level that Rebecca Romaine's talking about, that's not a good thing. And that's where we end up with movies like Captain America, New World Order, or whatever it was called, Brave New World. When it was changed, is because you have things that don't necessarily line up anymore, because it's easy when you're dealing with so many scenes, so much information, so many characters, what you shot, what got reshot, what blends together, what gets edited. And that's how you get gaps in stories. And that's how you get even the feeling of a story that isn't coherent. Everybody knows that when that listens to the show or watches the show knows that I was previously not a big fan of James Gunn coming over and doing Superman.
Yep.
He's since changed my mind. And one of the things I really appreciate about his approach is he will not start filming a movie until there is a finished script. That's not to say that as you're filming something, different ideas, different takes on a character or scenes don't change. That's part of the creative thing. But to not have a coherent 3-part act done is concerning. You start shooting. And I think there's a reason why he keeps stating that, because of his experience with Marvel. It's been well documented that they went back and retconned the Infinity Stones. And at first, that's why he had to go back in post and change the color during Guardians from red to purple. And so I'm a little concerned. I think that Marvel has built a little bit more goodwill up with the Fantastic Four, but I think, it's a little concerning to hear that they don't have a finished script. And just the same with the now forgotten Secret Invasion Disney Plus series. That thing was all over the place. So I'm a little concerned. They still have time to clean it up and to make it work. But I think out of anything, those are the things that concern me most about the stories that came out. How about you, Tarrus?
I actually believe some of the drama that actually went on during the set. I think it might have been over-exaggerated, that I do believe. But I actually do believe there may have been some conflict with Robert Downey Jr. and maybe some other cast member on the set. I don't know if you guys have heard recently, but Marvel has actually tried to change the narrative regarding this, saying that it actually wasn't with RDJ. It was actually some Thunderbolt cast members that actually had the conflict. I don't know how true that is. It's just what I heard, because that's all we're discussing right now, just a whole bunch of speculation.
Yeah.
But I actually do believe that Robert Downey Jr. wanted to reshoot his scenes, and it might have taken a few weeks for them to get that done. The reason I believe that is because they pushed back the film. The film's been pushed back by like 6 months. There has to be a reason for that. And I don't blame Robert Downey Jr. for wanting to do those reshoots, because they didn't give him a finished script. Yeah. The script isn't finished. So there's a lot of improving going on, and they're trying to figure things out as they're shooting. Because he's been in very successful movies with Marvel, he might be very particular about what's actually put out. This might be his baby. And I say that because can you think of too many other film franchises that Robert Downey Jr. has outside of the Marvel MCU that has made a big splash? This is his legacy. So he wants it to do as best as he possibly can. So he might have required them to do those reshoots because he didn't feel it was working. Now, who he may have had the conflict with, if this is true, because like I said, this is all speculation. If this is true, if they're telling us that Ryan Reynolds was not on set when all of this went down, there's really only a few people that I can actually think of. And some of them, if they had to do reshoots, they wouldn't joke about it. They'd let them know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm talking about Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Oh.
If those two guys had to do reshoots because of RDJ and they weren't happy about it, those are veteran actors.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, you need to get your S together because I do not want to be doing this all over again, right? Patrick Stewart does not play. I've heard of stories of him on the set of Star Trek Generations back when it was shot in the 80s and 90s. He doesn't play. Ian McKellen is another one, but I do think sometimes that when we joke to someone, we don't always know what their life experiences have been. So even though we might be saying something in a fun kind of jest way, someone may not take too kindly to that because of their life experiences. And then you don't know what their life experiences are, and you might set them off, right? So one rule that I have is when it comes to new people that I meet, or even among my friends here, what I don't joke about is culture, heritage, race, and religion, because you never know what somebody's previous experiences have been with that kind of thing. Now, maybe if it was Pedro Pascal, maybe Pedro Pascal was kind of making a joke in jest, didn't really mean, for it to get blown up. He was just kind of joking about something. And Robert Downey Jr. was in a place to where that offended him. That could have been blown up, and then based on their egos, it could have blown up even more than maybe it should have been. But that's how easy something like that can happen. And if this is true and they say that they made up, I do believe they made up. Because this is a really big film. There are millions of dollars, actually billions attached to it, because once it releases, it's probably going to be close to $1 billion film if it's done halfway decent, right? So I believe the stories. I don't necessarily believe that it was Ryan Reynolds, because if they're telling us that he wasn't on set, then I'm going to believe it because it's all speculation to begin with, like I said.
I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I still question it to some degree is because one of the things you said, obviously, with the delays being pushed back. So, it's a big name, someone important. It's not a Thunderbolt. No offense to the cast. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but you're high on the call sheet for them to do that. Consider that, Secondly is I just think once PR gets in there and they try to manage and do damage control, you just don't know. I just think it's a weird coincidence that the story was released around the same time that Ryan Reynolds confirmed himself, even though some people saying it's not actually been confirmed. He, putting his A over top the Avengers A kind of is an informal confirmation. So and some of the details in the story were, that they're both very important characters to the future of the franchises. So, again, I'm not saying it's as big as it was, as what we've heard. I don't know, without knowing what any of the details or anything like that. It could all just be damage control. But I could
Anthony, it all could be damage control, or it all could be true. It could be Ryan Reynolds, and they're just trying to play cleanup, right?
Exactly.
We don't know what the heck is going on, but there was something that happened on set, and it wasn't good.
One thing I don't understand too is they get dailies, so I'm not sure why it took 3 to 4 weeks to figure out you didn't like what was being shot.
Thinking.
So you get dailies in there. Why is there not?
You get dailies, but sometimes it takes a little time to determine whether or not something is working or not. You have to really sit on something and really look at it to make a determination of if you should continue on in this manner before it actually gets worse than stopping at that point and just redoing the whole thing. Dailies
Do you
are
have
good.
any concerns? Do you have any concerns about the quote from Rebecca Romaine about the script and things of that nature? If it is, of them starting without a finished script?
Marvel was just getting back on track with me, man. Fantastic Four I liked. Thunderbolts was okay. Captain America I liked, but it had issues. But with Fantastic Four, I was kind of getting back into the whole Marvel thing. I was really, beginning to hope they were getting their things together. So when it comes to whether or not they feel they're falling off the track again, the fact that they don't have a finished script, that does concern me. It actually does. And the latest rumor that I've read is Robert Downey Jr. has threatened to quit because of them not having a finished script, and more than likely because of some of the other issues that have been going on that we're discussing here today. So there's just a whole bunch of there's just a bunch of mess surrounding the shoot of this film, and Marvel is trying to do their best to clean it up. But in the future, we're going to hear all about this. We're going to find out exactly what happened. But right now, all we can do is speculate based on some of the rumors that we've been hearing and what they've been putting out.
If Joss Whedon and Justice League taught us anything, is eventually the truth comes out.
Yep.
It will.
Yep.
The last thing that I want to say is, other than Ryan Reynolds and Pedro Pascal, the only other actor that I potentially could see it being, because there really aren't any actors as big as Robert Downey Jr. here, other than Ryan Reynolds, and maybe Pedro Pascal is on his way to getting to that point because the guy works in just about everything.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The only other person I can possibly think of it being, and he doesn't seem like the type, is Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is the only really big MCU actor, not really big outside of the MCU. Right? He doesn't have any popular franchises on its own outside of Wolverine. But that character is so big and was the pillar for those X-Men movies that the only actor I could possibly think of that could have caused some of this, as well as Ryan Reynolds, would be Hugh Jackman. And it just doesn't really seem like that would be in his character, though.
Right.
But fantastic discussion, Anthony. Thank you for suggesting the topic. For those that are listening or watching this, Anthony was the one that actually came up with this topic. Usually, I'm the one that does pre-production on the show, and I throw the topics out to the guys. But sometimes Anthony throws out some fantastic ones, and this was one of them. Thank you. I do appreciate that, Anthony. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move it on to the watch list. What have we been watching over the last few weeks? Let's start out with Anthony on this one. Anthony, what have you been watching?
So I've only made one trip to the theater now that summer movie season is winding down, and I went to go see Nobody 2. I loved Nobody 1, which I honestly didn't really know about when it first came out. I just remember I was on vacation, and I actually watched it on a flight coming back from my vacation. So I was really hyped for the sequel. Starting off good, it had some good action. A lot of our favorites returned. Bob Odenkirk, Christopher, I'm going to forget his name. I'm blanking already. Doc Brown. What's his name, Jason?
Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd, thank you. And even RZA came back.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he came back. I liked him in the first one. They had some good additions. Colin Hanks as a shady sheriff. John Ortiz, most people will know from Fast and Furious series and from Bad Monkey, if anybody's got a chance to see that on Apple TV. One bad addition, I will say, was Sharon Stone, who I didn't even know was in I don't remember her from the trailer. And she really was not good. I hate to say it. I don't know. Man, I just hate to tear somebody down that's like established, but she just took me completely out of it. It was the biggest negative I could do. Whenever she was kind of on the screen, it kind of just made me cringe. She's got a dance scene in there, and I'm just like,
oh, man.
This is not good. Please, somebody, why did this not get edited out? But aside from that, like I said, it was a decent sequel, but probably one you could wait until it came out on home video for. Switching to the TV, I been watching Chief of War on Apple TV, which has a phenomenal cast. Tamir Morrison, Jason Momoa, Cliff Curtis. For most who don't know remember who Cliff Curtis is from Avatar and Hobbs and Shaw. Man, this thing has beautiful production value, beautiful set pieces and visuals. I love the peek inside the Hawaiian culture and history. It's still releasing week to week, and I'm a little bit behind, but I've gotten through maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and I love it. It is subtitled for the most part in Hawaiian, but the language is so beautiful, and it just fits so well. It's say what you want about Apple as a whole, but they really do come up with some really good programming lately that I just feel like they've just been hitting the mark really well. So I've been watching that. Strange New Worlds. Man, I talked about this last month, and I actually keep forgetting how many episodes. One horrible thing that I do constantly when I watch a series is I'll start it and I'll have no idea how many episodes are in a season. For some reason, I thought that season 3, this was the finale, and it didn't quite make sense because I was like, this is really low stakes, this episode 8. And it's because there's 10 episodes this year. So there's been some hits and misses in this season. It really has. Like I said last time, I haven't been a fan of the emo Spock. That's been a continuing storyline. I don't know why they got to keep giving him romance. You know, I think in the entire original series, there was the one where they went back to the Vulcan home planet with T'Pring, right, and he had Pon Fire and all that. But, man, it's just hit or miss this season. I love the acting. Don't get me wrong. Ethan Peck is phenomenal. Anson Mount. But again, I think I might have mentioned it last month, the Space Adventure Hour episode, it's just too corny. Yeah. They actually had Patton Oswalt playing a Vulcan in this episode, and I was just like, what? I get it. We're trying to be a little lighthearted. There's been some serious ones, but it was almost like a Batman episode. You know, it was that level of camp to it. And it's not just the fact that they hired Patton Oswalt to play a Vulcan. It was the stuff they gave him to do. Like, I'm supposed to believe that him and Rebecca Romijn are just really into each other and can't keep their hands off each other. And it was just like, it's done for laughs, but it just kind of misses for me. The engineer, who I can't remember her name, but she's been done for laughs too. They do have Scotty on there, but obviously he's not the head engineer. I haven't liked her too much because, you know, she's just on there again for comic relief, and I just wish it would get back a little closer to the source material and to the seriousness. This episode was like, I think it was called 4.5 Vulcans, and it had some good stuff about it, but it was just played for laughs too much, and I really didn't like the direction that they were taking it. So hopefully they kind of course correct a little bit. I did love this stuff. Kirk came back again because apparently the Farragut and the Enterprise are always in the same area, so he gets to drop on by whenever to see his brother. But I'm starting to like Paul Wesley a little bit more. He's growing on me. He wasn't my first choice for Kirk, but he's doing a lot better with it. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Jason.
Well, lucky for the length of this podcast, this episode, my watch list is very short. As a matter of fact, I only watched one thing, and that was Untamed with Eric Bana. I got about 4 episodes into it, but I got to be completely honest with you, man. I was kind of playing Angry Birds the whole time on my phone, and I didn't really pay attention. And so I'm probably going to have to rewatch it. It was interesting enough to keep me there for like 4 hours. So, but yeah, that has pretty much been it, man. My watch list is always pretty short, but this episode's is particularly short. So I can move it straight. No, no. And even if I
okay.
did, I wouldn't have been able to tell you much about it. So
I just finished it. I was going to save it for next month, so I was just wondering.
okay,
if
we
you
can
made it
both.
all the
Yeah,
way through.
yeah. No, we'll both talk about it then, because I do plan on watching it. So yeah, that's it for me though, man. What about you, Taurus?
I actually had the opportunity to watch Jurassic World Rebirth. I watched it over one of the guys in the movie group's place at his theater. And I got to say, man, best Jurassic Park movie I think I've seen.
What, really?
I
What?
really, really liked it.
Wait.
I really did. I'll tell you why. Because
This
it
one?
felt, this one here, it felt like more of a kaiju movie than a Jurassic Park movie to me. And you guys know that I love
Okay.
kaijus.
Yeah, I get that.
Apps and I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't think I've ever seen this many people get it in a Jurassic Park movie, man, a Jurassic World movie, because those dinosaurs were getting busy, man. This is how people should respond when you're surrounded by dinosaurs. So I really, really, really did enjoy it for that reason. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that haven't actually seen it. Don't get me wrong; it's not the greatest movie, but it's in my wheelhouse because I'm a big kaiju fan. I will say, Mahershala Ali, worst captain ever. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say about Mahershala Ali, worst captain ever. And if you watch it, you'll actually understand what I'm talking about. The only other thing that I want to discuss that I actually watched was it's a TV show. I'm a very big Bosch fan. I really, really like that show. And I was sad when the seasons ended, but it was about time. It had ran for a number of seasons for his own show. And then they did a legacy show with his daughter. And that actually was pretty good too. This is actually a spinoff of the Bosch series also. This is called Ballard, and it stars Maggie Q. And it's a serialized police drama, fantastic stories, fun stories. It's typically on Amazon. It is not typically, but on Amazon, it's one of the top 3 shows that people have been watching on that platform. And for a while, I believe it was number 1 and number 2. But it's got a fantastic story. It's not necessarily a procedural cop drama. It's more serialized because it covers a story over the whole season. But it's captivating. And if you like Bosch, you will absolutely love this show. Titus Welliver, who plays Bosch, does make appearances in the show. And I like it when him and his supporting cast actually show up. He's not really featured throughout the episodes, but he does make a stop through once in a blue moon, and you always appreciate seeing him there. And then Jamie Hector, Jerry Edgar, was also in the show as well, for those who know who he is. He was a very prominent figure in the Bosch TV show, the original legacy
Love
show.
that dude.
Yeah,
Love that
yeah.
dude. He's
Fantastic
Marlo.
show. Did you watch Bosch,
Marlo,
Anthony, when it was on?
I did. Yeah. I love that dude from ever since he was in The Wire.
Yeah.
Marlo.
Yeah, man, The Wire's had some fantastic actors, man. I got to tell you. But yeah, so these are the 2 shows that I've actually been watching, and I've enjoyed them quite a bit. I'm done with Ballard. I'm going to be moving on to the next thing now. I haven't actually, like I said, watched a lot of movies and TV shows, and even played much games over the last month because I've been working on my theater, getting that ready. Now that it's done, now I'm going to be sitting around watching a lot of movies, catching up on TV shows, and playing games as well. So over the next episodes, you should hear me discuss more content that I've been experiencing. But that is the movie and TV section. Why don't we go ahead and move it on to video games?
Video games. The Fun Waste of Time Podcast. Pick up the controller. Video games. Video games. Video games.
Now, in the video game segment, we actually do not have a main topic, but I wanted us to discuss a little bit about what we've been playing over the last few weeks, because some of us have been playing some things. And because we did the home theater experience segment, I didn't want to take up too much time here. So let's start out with Anthony. Anthony, what have you been playing over the last few weeks, if anything?
So I keep falling for it every time, but I went out and got the College Football 26 and Madden 26 bundle, mostly for college football. One of the things I like they did this year is you actually start off as a senior in high school.
Oh.
And it gives you some of your customization for your own high school. And you have these challenges. One of the things it does, too, is that it gives you these challenges that affect your recruiting. So you'll pick your top 10 schools that you want to try to go to. And then based on how you do with the challenges during your high school games, affects your recruiting. Towards the end, you have to cut it down to your top 3. And then after your top 3, again, you get to reshuffle. And then you actually get a hat ceremony, just like the big name recruits do in real life. So, and then again, you have to really keep track of your position. You can't just choose to go to a college that you like based on, you're a fan of the team or whatever. You have to look at the depth chart for that college, because there's some schools that you can go right into being a starter, and then there's others where you're going to be considered a walk-on or third string, and you're going to have to compete. It's not saying that you won't get a chance to, but some of those competitions for moving up the depth chart can be kind of rough. So I kind of always look at that now. I started off with one player, and I chose, I think it was Clemson or North Carolina. I can't remember. And I was kind of down on the depth chart. So the good thing, though, is this year you also have the transfer portal. So if you can't successfully move up into that starting role at the end of the season, you can basically transfer to another school, which I really love. So the graphics from the run out, the actual gameplay is much better this year than it was last year.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, I love it. So the college football portion of it has been great for me. I just finally got to the point where I finished and I imported the great thing about having the two again is when you complete college football 26, you can import your player into Madden. So that way you can get drafted. You don't have to recreate your player all over again, which I absolutely love. Madden so far, I've only been playing a little bit. I hate the new menu. It's really buggy in some ways, but one thing I will give them kudos for is now if you don't want to do the combine, you do not have to do the combine. So when you get in, you import your player, you make the changes and the edits that you want to make to them. You can either do the combine or you can simulate it because, man, I tell you what, I've tried that combine the last 2-3 years, whatever. I can't remember how long it's been in there, but I cannot do a long jump for nothing. So I'm so glad that they gave me the option just to skip it and go right to the draft if I want. So still played Madden. Haven't played too many games there since I've finished, like I said, my seasons. I played multiple seasons on college football, and I just got drafted. So we'll see how Madden goes. Jason, how about you?
I actually have been playing multiple things, surprisingly. Normally, I can only pay attention to one thing at a time, if anything. I'll start out with the one that I'm going to have an unpopular opinion on, but it's just a personal opinion, and that is Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch 2, which I finally was able to procure. I probably put 4 or 5 hours into it, and here's the thing, man. I have not really enjoyed it, and it's not because it's a bad game. It's gotten really good reviews, and almost everybody that I talk to that has played it loves it. I'm just personally not a big fan of 3D platformers, and I never really have been. And so it's got to be really, really good for me to stay committed to it. I think the last 3D platform I played all the way through and actually completed was Super Mario Odyssey. And what was that, like 2017, 2018? So
Yeah.
it was quite a while back. And I think I have, especially as a retro-minded gamer, I think I have this default setting in my brain where I say to myself, if it's a Nintendo first-party IP, I have to like it. It has to be good to me. And I think I need to just get out of that. If I don't like the game, I don't like the game. Now, I'm not saying, again, I need to keep going back and saying that I'm not saying the game's bad. It most certainly is not. It's got a lot of charm to it. It's just not my bag. That's all. So I would suggest giving it a shot. I'd say wait for it to go on sale, but sadly, Nintendo's games never ever go on sale, even 10 years later. So if you come across an extra $75 though, and you got nothing else to burn it on, by all means, play some Donkey Kong Bonanza. But
I'm trying. My wife won't give up the stick. Man. She's
well,
been
that
playing
means you have to
thing.
buy a second
She
console,
loves it.
man. Come on.
I know. Or
You got to pull a
Something
Taurus.
that-
You got to have multiple consoles throughout the house so you don't have to share. This
man,
is
it took me
how
long
it's
enough
done.
to get the Switch too. I was like,
I know, right?
I
Yeah,
only
and you
got
got
it
it a
back
couple
about a
months
month
before I
ago.
did. Yeah.
yeah,
Well-
but yeah, she loves it. I've been trying to get on there. I played the Mario Kart World, but I haven't gotten to Donkey Kong yet.
Yeah, I played through all the circuits in Mario Kart World, and it's Mario Kart, and it was fine. But to me, Mario Kart 8 was kind of the pinnacle in my mind. But the second thing I played that I did actually play all the way through and that I absolutely loved, and it was a surprise to me because I bought it on the Switch 2, which I shouldn't have. That's kind of the worst port. But it was actually Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Close on the B-roll there, Taurus, because I've been playing 2 Ninja games, and that's one of them. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It's more of an old school platformer. Ninja Gaiden has been a franchise. The first time I played it, I think, was in like 1989 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Brutally difficult game, but this one, for some reason, I kept dying, and every time I died, I'm like, okay, just one more try. I know I can do it this time. And to me, that, and I've said it before on this podcast, that is a sign of a great game. It kicks your butt and makes you want to come back for more. Played all the way through it. There were some bosses that I probably 60, 70 tries before I actually beat them, but that's the fun of it, man. You learn the boss's patterns, and you use the different abilities that you acquire throughout the game to defeat the bosses, and their patterns switch up depending on how much is left in their life bar. It's just trust me, it's fun. And if you have the patience and you have an extra $30, go for it, man. It's a great one. The third one is and it just came out. I had played the demo about a week earlier. It's Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I won't get too far into it because I'm only about 2 levels in, but so far I am loving it. It's a lot like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, except the art style's quite a bit different. But where you gain new abilities as you go on. And Shinobi is a franchise that's also been around since the mid to late 80s. As a matter of fact, you can't see it here, but right above me I have a marquee from the original Shinobi arcade machine hanging on my wall. That's how much I loved it. It's actually the first arcade game I ever beat when I was 9 years old. And I got to the point where I could actually beat it on a single life. I can't do that anymore, but back in 1989, 1990, I could. Give this one a shot again if you have an extra $20. It's a Sega franchise. Sega can be hit or miss, but in this particular case,
when I saw this trailer, I thought it looked dope, man.
yeah,
It's just so stylized, and
it is.
the action just looks ridiculously good, man.
For sure. It really is. There's some platforming segments that get a little bit tedious, but once you get to the action, the boss fights are really fun. And I've only unlocked maybe 5 or 6 of the abilities that you get throughout the game, so I'm really looking forward to playing through the rest of it. By the time we record again, I probably will have played through it, unless it ends up being so hard that I just give up, but I doubt it. Unfortunately, I bought the more expensive version, so I'm gonna have to force myself to play through it all the way just to get my money's worth. But well, Taurus, I know you haven't been playing as much lately. Have you played anything though?
I actually have. I just started playing something today. It's a game that actually has been on my radar for a little while. I actually did see the first trailer for it. I think it was during this summer Game Fest. It is a game called Echoes of the End. And it's a third-person action game. And it kind of has the same vibes as a God of War. Kind of reminds me a little bit of A Plague's Tale, that whole franchise. About the little boy who's sick and all the rats and everything else takes place in France. Kind of has that feel, but with some pretty decent action. It's taken me a little adjusting to the controls because they're doing the controls very different than how you would typically play in a third-person action game. But the action is actually really darn good. You guys are seeing how it plays here.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's very fantastical. You know, you're fighting trolls and all kinds of monsters and humans as well. Almost has a kind of a Witcher thing going on. Plays very different than The Witcher. Not as RPG as The Witcher. It's a straight-up third-person action linear story for the most part. But so far, it's pretty darn fun, man. I've played about maybe 3 or 4 hours of it so far. And it's taken me about that long to get adjusted to the controls and her power set. But I think I'm going to finish it, man. I'm enjoying it that much.
Yeah.
Eventually, I plan to get back to Kazan, the first Berserker. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to finish this and then go to that. I don't think this game is all that long. But I haven't actually researched what the length of it is. But right now, I'm actually enjoying my gameplay. So I'm going to stick with this for a little while.
I am writing this down right now, man. I'm giving that
Yeah,
one
check
a
it out,
shot.
Jason. I'm playing it on PlayStation. So
Sweet.
it's only $40 too. It's not a
Oh, yeah?
$60 or $70 game. Yeah.
Oh, good, yeah.
It's only $40, which makes me think that it's probably not super long. If I can get a tight 8 to 10 hour game, I'm good with that.
Same.
$40
Yeah.
is the perfect price
Yep.
for a game of that length. And I believe this is that kind of game. But we'll find out soon enough. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and move it on to the open forum segment. I think let's start out with Anthony. Anthony usually starts us out with the open forums. So let's go ahead and get his bumper going. DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse,
A fun waste of time?
Comic Book Pull List. All right, Anthony. So what you got for us on the pull list today, buddy?
So I decided to take a little break from horror comics, especially after I got addressed by Tarrus for some of the graphic materials I recommended to him. But
I complimented you on how good the book was. It was graphic,
no,
but it was still
is
good.
a good book. And I just started House of Slaughter, but I've been reading the Power Fantasy Volume 1 by Kieran Gillian, who did the Once and Future series, and he did the Darth Vader series, and the art's by Casper Wingard. So the story takes place in 1999, but it flashes back about these 6 superpowered individuals on Earth. They appeared after the detonation of the first atomic bomb. The story has a lot of character development and action. It's basically, you think that the 6 are kind of friends, but in actuality, they kind of don't trust each other. And they kind of look at each other as weapons. And it's almost like a balancing act because they don't want any one of the 6 to get more powerful because they just are not sure what could happen. It's the interaction I really like, the motivations and the alliances. It just keeps you guessing. So the writing is really engrossing. The art is gorgeous. It's just, I don't even remember how I came upon it. I think, again, there's a small comic book store in Annapolis, Maryland, called Third Eye, and they're always having super awesome events. And I know that they were advertising this one, so I decided to give it a chance. Volume 1 just came out. Usually I try to wait for the deluxe editions, but I had like a little bit of a gap there, and I was really into it. So if you get a chance, check it out, though. It's really good.
Let's move it over to Jason. Jason, do you have anything for us for open forum?
Well, the only thing I have is actually Taurus related. So
Okay.
I have not heard any updates on the puppy, man. And so I'm gonna throw it right over to you because I want to hear all about it. I want to hear what's going on, how he's acclimating. Go for it, man.
All right. Well, hey, for the sake of my wife listening to the show, I'm going to be nice. My wife is too busy to listen to her. She's paying us no mind here.
Oh.
No, but the puppy's actually a pretty good dog, but he's a good boy. Actually like him quite a bit, man.
What's his name, man?
His name is Boji.
Okay.
We call him Bo.
Bo. All
We
right.
call him Bo.
Nice.
The only thing that still drives me crazy is he's using our carpet downstairs as his personal pee pad and poop pad.
Oh, Lord.
Driving me freaking crazy, man. I almost had a moment one day where I almost lost it. Like, this dang dog is pooping all over my expensive carpet. Oh, my gosh.
I know all these feels, brother.
But he's a good, cute dog. He's smart. So, we're enjoying him. We don't let him upstairs, though. He doesn't get to go. He does not get to go upstairs. He does not get to roam around. If my wife wants him to sleep in the crate that she has for him in the bedroom, she will pick him up and walk him up the stairs and personally place him inside of the crate. When she's taking a shower, she places him inside of the crate. When she needs to go back downstairs after him being in the crate, she'll personally pick him up and walk him down the stairs. He does not get to roam anywhere upstairs on his own, even for a second.
Makes sense.
Because as a puppy, they can't control themselves, man. I mean, he might just start Papa Squad and, out the blue. But he's a good dog, man. I'm actually enjoying having him, I will
That's
say.
good, man. I'm happy for you, man. I was excited when you first told us about him. So.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. I still think I deserve a subwoofer for him.
Oh,
Oh, my
you
goodness.
just bought 20, man. You don't need.
I still, that's 15 years, though. I got 20, but I need a subwoofer for every year we're going to have this dog. No, but in all seriousness, though, my wife actually did approve.
Uh-oh.
She did approve a new subwoofer. So I'm going to get a new subwoofer.
Ooh.
I told you guys in the back when I did the tour that I have two SB17 subwoofers in the back of the theater. Now it's going to be 3 back there. So in the front, I've got, let me see if I can share this real quick. In the front, I've got 8 SB16s, which is SVS's previous flagship subwoofer, and they just switched over to the SB17s in October of this past year. But these are the SB16s. Remember when I was telling you that there's a display on the front
Yeah.
of the subwoofer? This is what you guys were seeing.
Gotcha.
This is what you were seeing in the front of that subwoofer there. So there are 2 stacks of 4 in the front of the theater, and this is the subwoofer that you're seeing in front. And in the back, I've got the SB17s. There are 2 back there now. Now they're going to be 3. So the subwoofers, the bass in the room is going to be even more tactile, and the imaging is going to be even more fantastic than it is right now. Then I will completely be done. That'll be 26 complete subs in the room. I got subs on the vertical, on the horizontal and the vertical plane. I've never experienced that with anybody else in home theater, and it is the most amazing experience. I don't think it can be topped, man. But
Taurus, you'll be done when you pass away, man. That's when you'll be done.
well, the great thing about the theater is it's been over 8 years, right? My theater was done back in early 2017.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So it's been 8 years. Everything that I have now, it's not just me getting it all at one time.
Yeah.
It's been an accumulation of upgrades and making things better over time. So that's why I'm proud of what I've done, because all of the money hasn't really been spent at one particular time.
Yeah.
It did start out pretty pricey in the beginning, but over the years, I've been gradually able to improve upon what I've done and corrected some mistakes that I originally made in my design also.
Right.
But that's pretty much it, guys. Let's go ahead and close the show out here. Does anybody have anything they want to finish off with?
Man.
Anthony, good to go? All right.
Go.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for watching us. And for those that are listening to us in the audio version, we really appreciate you sticking with us. And join us the next time we do the show. We're going to do the show in September. As I stated when we opened, we do the show once a month. Unfortunately, the release date that we put it out depends on all of our schedules, but we try to be consistent with at least getting one out a month. And we hope that you enjoy the content we discuss. And we hope that you're as big of geeks as we are, because we are geeks. Anthony would tell you we're not nerds, we're geeks. Okay? We enjoy our hobbies to that level. We're enthusiasts, and we are geeks of this stuff that we love. But you all take care, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye now.